Okay, how do you define American identity and what makes someone American? in
To
your
me,
opinion?
American identity could be defined by the way people just stand up for themselves. And I admire the fact that people are not scared of being who they want to be, and it could be for anything. So I think it's like the fact to be open-minded to any other subcultures within the country, which is interesting.
Okay. Describe a time and or experience when you felt most American. What about this experience made you feel most American?
So, like, as a first thing to say, I have to admit that I don't feel that much American all the time because I'm not. But sometimes I feel like I'm integrated in a way that I can just help other people that are in the country for a little less times than I am and can just like ask me for advice. So I feel American in the ways that I can actually answer to them about the rules or like the cultural aspect that they just like don't understand. But yeah.
Yeah. So you feel American when taking your experiences here and using them to help someone who is in a place where they don't feel like they have a place yet here.
Exactly.
And you can help to guide and help someone feel like they do have a place.
Exactly.
here.
Within the international student community, trying to help them get integrated better.
What was a time, describe a time and or experience when you felt least American. What about the experience made you feel least American and why?
So to describe a time, I would just like talk about like the euphoria of holidays. I don't know if you put it together, but like all the fact that people celebrate so much like Thanksgiving and Christmas and like even just like everything basically, because you have Valentine's Day, you have St. Patrick's Day, you have like Cinco de Mayo, you
every
have
holiday
everything.
is like such a big deal, and there's always
commercially
like, advertisements and like decorations. Like America goes all out for holidays, and like I'm sure for someone who isn't initially from here that can be off-putting.
Exactly. I mean, we still celebrate some of the same celebrations, such as like Christmas or like Halloween sometimes too, or stuff like that. But like, it's nothing compared to here. Like, we don't go crazy with like all like decorations in our house, like outside and inside, and like all those like big like things and traditions. We in my culture, at least, I don't know about the other ones.
We're just talking about you here.
How do you define American identity? What makes someone American?
I think American identity is different than the actual definition of American. I would say someone who's American just lives in America. But American identity, I think of the classic, like, American dream stuff.
Okay. Describe a time and or experience where you felt most American. What about the experience made you feel American?
I think when I went to visit family in Italy and, like, the cultural differences were like super prominent, and just like from anything to mannerisms to views were super different than theirs.
Describe a time and or experience when you felt least American. What about the experience made you feel least American and why?
Probably when Trump got elected, because I feel like the little amount of progress we were making to acceptance of like minorities and stuff like that was just completely backtracked, and him being voted into office really like told minorities that our country doesn't care enough about us, and yeah.
How do you define American identity? What makes someone American?
I don't even think there is such a thing as like American identity, because America itself is like such a melting pot of like different cultures and stuff. Like we've like appropriated literally everything from like burgers to like fucking anything really. So I don't even think there's such a thing as American identity. Like there is no such thing as like American culture, because it's just like, you know, America's been like founded on immigrants, so like everything we have, like we can link to like some other culture or country. So yeah, there's no such thing.
Okay, I think that's perfect. Describe a time and or experience where you felt most American. What about this experience made you feel American?
So I like thought about this, and I guess like the only times I've ever felt like this is like when I'm watching a movie, specifically like The Patriot with like Mel Gibson. And this was like the first time I saw it, I was like in the 6th grade, and I thought like, wow, this is such an American movie. Like I feel so proud to be American and everything. And like, yeah, fuck the Britain, like, you know, fuck Britain and everything. And now that I look back on it, I've learned a lot, and how the Revolutionary War and the win for it like didn't benefit people like me at all. So I have no, like my people have no role in such a, you know, in the Revolutionary War, and like it ultimately doesn't mean anything for me. So I think the only times I've ever felt like truly American have been like the times where I was really young and like ignorant about the country's history.
Describe a time and or experience where you felt least American. What about this experience made you feel least American? Why?
So I'm Mexican American, and like my most recent memory of like feeling very un-American is definitely like the latest like presidential election with like Trump like saying all of this stuff about like Mexicans, how we're like drug dealers and we're bringing crime and we're rapists. And like even very recently, like he proposed a plan to like revoke the citizenship of like first generation like kids or like immigrants. And like, you know, that kind of thing, that kind of like position like the administration is like taking on is just making people who are like born in this country feel like the other despite being American. So I definitely felt like instead of like Mexican American, just Mexican at that point. You know, I've been stripped away of like my American identity in the eyes of like the administration. So definitely in today's political climate, I'm feeling very un-American.